Hello and welcome to this video on the glassware used for drinking your brew. The vessel from which you drink is probably not something you give much thought to when drinking your beverage. You might just choose something based on habit, convenience, or something you learned years ago. The reasons for this choice, whether right or wrong, are varied, but the correct choice nearly always has a series of sound reasons behind it. The variety of sizes, shapes, and volumes of containers for drinking from is surprising. The common glass tumbler is the least of the options available. Take a shot glass and compare it to a pint glass. This goes from 30 milliliters to 560 milliliters, both a roughly symmetrical shape and simple. Then there is stemware. This is so called due to the narrow glass or stem that holds up the bowl. This goes from the tall and narrow absinthe glass to the tall and increasingly narrow champagne flutes to low but wide champagne coupes. White wine is wider than champagne flutes, but still has an opening narrower than the body is wide. Red wine glasses are like white wine, but have a wider opening and body. When it comes to spirits, there is the quintessential snifter and whiskey taster. Both are wide at the base and taper over a considerable height of the glass. This contrasts with your mixed drinks, like cocktails which have their own glass style. A wide champagne coupe, almost like an umbrella upside down. The first group to focus on is your beer drinking glassware. These are very much like your standard highball or drinking glass, but for a few exceptions and quirks. There are several styles of glass that are international standards. The Pilsner and pint. The Pilsner holds about 200 milliliters of beer, up to 400. It is tall and tapers in a straight line. The pint glass is markedly similar. It differs in its wider girth, but is still much taller than it is wide. These two glass styles reflect the obvious considerations for drunk people. They need something easy and obvious to hold. Then you need to consider the fact the glass may be slippery when beer spills over the sides. This design can make the glass stronger, and in particular in the Nonic example, or they can be easier to stack and unstack. In those countries that drink their beer warm, this sure grip on the glass adds to keeping the beer warm, or at least body temperature. There are some regional variations. Most of these occur in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, the best known example of which is a stein. This originally comes from a simple earthenware mug that could hold beer. The characteristic lid is a product of the Black Plague according to some, where it was thought the lid would prevent disease. The modern stein is made from stoneware rather than earthenware. This is not used in the current day for anything except novelty. Wine glasses are a very wide selection of glasses with a huge history. Some have apocryphal tales behind them, while others are simply natural developments for use and function. Champagne is the first. The origin and reasons for champagne's limited production region have been covered previously, but the glassware is not restricted in the same way. The champagne flute was originally developed around the same time as other wine glassware used, mostly in the 1700s. The champagne flute itself was the preferred shape for sparkling wines. This is because the inward taper keeps the carbonation in the wine. This is a result of a reduced surface area to volume. Without that extra surface area and the escaping CO2, the oxygen to wine ratio remains stable, and it will enhance the wine's aroma and taste. This is a tall, narrow glass. In comparison with the champagne coupe, it is shallow and wide, almost like a small bowl. An apocryphal tale that applies here is that the champagne coupe is said to have been modelled after Marie Antoinette. However, the design itself occurred over 100 years earlier in the UK. Champagne can also be served in what is called a tulip glass. The white wine tulip glass is distinct from your normal champagne flute because it has a flared body and mouth. This means it narrows in the middle. When you drink from this glass, you get more of the odor coming at you from those volatile aromatic compounds because of that narrowing and then widening. This is sometimes preferred over a standard champagne flute because it retains that low carbonation loss but improves the concentration of aromatics. White wine glasses are very similar to champagne glasses in many respects, but there are more styles available. In fact, they are somewhat more varied than red wine glasses are. They have a wide mouth. This is similar to what a red wine glass would have. This is useful for those white wines that do not necessarily have a sharp flavor. By comparison, the narrow opening of a white wine glass is used when those wines have a crisp, clean flavor that oxidation would inhibit. For a similar reason to beer and other drinks, white wine glasses normally have a stem. This is useful in keeping the wine cold. Cold prevents the volatile aromatics from vaporizing off and disappearing before you have an opportunity to experience them when drinking. Keeping the wine cold keeps them, if not as a liquid, and as a flavor inside that liquid, at least close to the wine itself. As you pour the wine out to drink it, that is when you experience them. In the newer stemless wine glasses, this is often a problem, as the wine warms up far too early for you to properly experience what you are tasting. These two styles mark the extreme ends of the white wine glass styling, those that allow for high oxidation and those that allow for low oxidation. By comparison, glasses for a red wine are generally always characterized by being wider, more rotund, and having a larger opening. This increases the rate of oxidation. Many red wines need this in order to reach their full flavor. In fact, you can aerate red wine for that exact reason. When looking at red wine, there are two major styles of glass, the Bordeaux and the Burgundy. Bordeaux are tall and have a broad bowl. This is meant for full-bodied wines, as the broad bowl allows for lots of oxidation. The Burgundy is even wider and broader than the Bordeaux, and this means that more of the aroma will accumulate in the glass before you drink it. This is used for those red wines that have an extreme body and need time to mature. Next are your spirit glasses. These are a strange hybrid of both beer and wine glasses. The first example is your whiskey taster, the leading example of which is the Glencairn whiskey glass. This has a short stem-type base, a wide bottom to the bowl, which narrows down to a short opening before the top where it flares again. This creates several effects. One is the proximity of the hands and the bowl, which slightly warms the whiskey. This makes it volatile, driving the aromatics off as they become more volatile themselves from the heat. These enter the wide open area and then get focused in constriction. When you drink it, it then forces the aromatics into your nose. This shape contributes strongly, promoting the flavor and odors. By contrast, you have your whiskey or lowball type glass. These are there simply to keep your whiskey in a container, cold, and provide a sharp kick of aroma and flavor when consumed. In a similar design to the whiskey taster, an absinthe glass has a squat base, a small stem for holding onto, and then a bowl for the absinthe or similar marking so you know how much to include. Absinthe is a very potent drink, and this is why it has a narrow neck and then opens up again. The latter part is for the glass to be filled with water and provides a visual clue to both how well they've mixed and a form of entertainment while they mix. The snifter takes this idea and simplifies it further. The snifter is used for brandy and cognac. The large surface area of the contained liquid helps to vaporize it. The narrow top traps the aroma inside the glass, when the rounded bottom allows the glass to be cupped in the hand, and this warms your liqueur. This is more easily done, as most snifters will only hold about 200 milliliters of liqueur. The glass itself may have considerably more capacity to allow for that vaporization, and this gradient favors the transition from a liquid state flavor to an aroma. Finally, there are shot glasses, the dirty and cheap solution for getting drunk. They hold exactly the volume of a standard drink, and this often meets statutory requirements and avoids overservice. Cocktail glasses are the last category. The design is similar to wine glasses for a number of reasons. The first is that most cocktails are aromatic and served cold. The stem gives the drinker time to consume their beverage before it warms up. This helps to slow the vaporization of volatile compounds that impart aroma. The wide open top of the glass allows the drinker to smell these aromatics when they drink from it. Most drinking glasses are the product of years, decades, and in many cases centuries of refinement. This improves taste, mouthfeel, and appearance. The most notable of these is the effect that oxygenation has on the flavor of each drink, and glasses are made to accommodate this by increasing or decreasing oxygenation. In other cases, it modifies flavor by carbonation. In others again, it helps to keep your drink cold or warm it up gradually. This video does not cover every possible glass used for drinking, but does give some idea of why, what, and how each is used for. Even then, some are used interchangeably. Tulip glasses are used for champagne and beer in some European countries. A stein is used for beer in Germany and for anything else in other countries. In any situation in which a glass is needed and you have the option of one or none, then one is just fine. But if you have many options and need to make the right choice, hopefully this video has given you some idea of what to look for in each glass and application. Thank you for watching this video. If you have found it useful, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions below.